Our several part series on prepare your business for the upcoming recession. So this is part 4, and what we're going to talk about is your company's credit rating and the credit ratings of your customers. So the thing about recessions is quite often it becomes a lot harder to actually borrow money. Why would you want to borrow money? Well, if you do have a big risk to your business because customers are left, or you've had to lower your prices, I don't lower your prices, but for example, then essentially you may have a cash flow hole that you have to fill, and to do that you're going to have to potentially borrow money or come up with some other kind of strategy. Assuming you're going to have to borrow money, then what you're actually going to need is a decent credit rating so people will actually lend your company money. It might, to be fair, another example might just be you want to get a new car, and you want to get it through the business, which is fine as long as it's electric, or a van, and you need to be able to actually get the lease or a high purchase on that, and people are going to look at your credit rating then as well. Or even if you've got to go get a new premises. So there's a few examples why credit rating is really important, but what I just want to do is just get everyone to be really proactive about their company's credit rating, because going into a recession, what's going to happen is it will get harder to borrow. There's more risks for the banks, so they're just going to naturally make it be a lot slower and more difficult about lending. So that means if you want that competitive edge, you've got to go into the recession with the credit rating that's already been prepared. So a couple of things that you really need to know about companies' credit ratings is quite often it's done based on your filed accounts at Companies House, and the companies like Experian, what they do is they have some sort of computer that can actually go and read your accounts, and it can actually read the information in your accounts. Usually it'd be abridged accounts because you wouldn't have your full accounts at Companies House, but these abridged accounts, which don't say a lot about your profits, but they do say stuff about your balance sheet. So really your company's credit rating is often being derived by movements in your balance sheet year on year. And the other thing is they also look at things like how soon you file your accounts, if you've got late, if you've got late accounts, if you have county court judgments and other charges against your business, then these credit rate agencies actually look at that, and based on what they see, they then assign your company a credit rating. So based on everything I just said, though, what we can then say is, well, firstly, you've got to get your accounts in on time, because that's that's an easy one, right? And so why throw away credit rating because of that? The second one is, if you do have county court judgments and you're not sure how they got there, then you've got to look into it and you've got to figure out how to reverse them. And really, what we've also got to do is we've got to just look at your accounts in general. So what is happening to your balance sheet year on year? What kind of picture does it say? Are the assets in your business growing or they're declining? If they're declining, why is that? Did you take too much in dividends? Did you put through too many expenses that you didn't necessarily need to in your accounts? Although that would, I guess, be illegal. But were you overzealous with the expenses that you claimed? And did that push your business into loss, which then made your company's credit rate, your company's balance sheet um, look weaker? And if the answer to that is yes, then maybe you've just got to think about being a bit more moderate in the way you spend money in your business. So really, what I'm talking about is going into a recession, you've got to make sure your credit rating is top notch. There's a few things you can look at, and a good accountant will also be able to guide you on that. The second thing, though, is you've got to start looking at the credit ratings of your customers, and even if you don't want to go to all the effort of getting a proper credit reference for them, then at the very least, just go onto Companies House, have a look at their accounts and see what's changing on their balance sheet year on year. If there's a big negative number, then that should stick out at you. Also, have a look at when they are actually filing their accounts, because if they're filing their accounts after the deadline, then maybe that's not a particularly healthy business that you want to be working with. Obviously, one of the other biggest issues with credit ratings, apart from being able to borrow money or not borrow money, is essentially when you've got customers with bad credit, and then those issues then translate into your own business because they're not paying you on time, then that can be really dangerous for your own business, especially in a recession. So if you found this video useful, remember to like, share, follow, and subscribe, depending on how you're viewing it. But more importantly, go to our website, naccounting.co.uk, book yourself in for a strategy session, and we can actually go through a lot more of this in detail, but more importantly, put together solid strategies so you can continue growing your business during the next recession. I'll see you at